Executives of the Sony Corporation today announced that the Japanese firm will be building a multi-million-dollar facility in Terre Haute to manufacture laser video discs. The main reason Sony chose Indiana for the site of the new plant is because of a pledge by the state to permanently abolish the unitary corporate tax. That tax is one which permits a state to levy taxes on a multinational corporation's worldwide profits.
This attitude showed us how much this state or government or legislature and the people are willing to welcome Japanese investment.
The resolution was signed by both Democratic and Republican legislators and is expected to be dealt with during the 1985 General Assembly. The new plant should be finished by the fall of next year and will initially employ 100 people but could grow to about 250. The building of the plant, however, is contingent on Sony obtaining tax-exempt financing and Urban Development Action Grant funds. Ann Craig, 59 Headline News.
The former Center Township assessor and his assistant face prison sentences on fraud charges tonight. Judge S.U. Dillon sentenced Henry Bate to a total of 8 years in prison and a $1,000 fine on mail and tax fraud charges. That sentence could be reduced. Bate and Deputy Assessor Frank Corsero were accused of accepting kickbacks for helping business owners get property tax breaks. Corsero was sentenced to 2 years on charges of using the mail to defraud. He will serve 60 days of that sentence and must pay a $1,000 fine. In another matter, the owner of a local construction company, Frederick Harding, received a 2-year suspended sentence for overcharging the town of Carmel for asphalt paving. He must also repay $80,000 plus interest to the town. An Indianapolis toddler died today, the result of a freak accident. 2.5-year-old Charles Pina apparently woke up early this morning at his home on North Dearborn and tried to climb out a window onto the front porch. Police say the screen fell on him, hitting him in the neck. His sister found him hanging through the window when she returned home. He was pronounced dead at Community Hospital. Police say it appeared the boy was reaching for a cookie when the accident occurred. A Michigan man was found dead in his downtown Indianapolis motel room today. Police at first thought 38-year-old Robert Wirtz of Dearborn, Michigan, died from a fire that started in the room. But after examining evidence found at the scene, police now think Wirtz died of natural causes. Detectives believe Wirtz was smoking in bed at the time of his death, and the bed caught on fire. Tonight, Washington Township fire investigators say a fire at the Lake Nora Arms Apartments was deliberately set, and they think they know who was responsible. Fire officials say they believe 2 people are responsible for Monday's blaze. They are not saying how that fire was set. The early morning blaze destroyed 2 apartment units and caused $100,000 in damages. The 3 men arrested for killing an Indianapolis man face additional charges tonight. 23-year-olds Herbert Underwood, Richard Asbury, and Richard Huffman are also accused of confinement and criminal deviant conduct. Sheriff's deputies indicate the victim, 29-year-old Carrie Golden, was sexually assaulted in addition to being beaten to death. The 3 suspects were earlier charged with murder and robbery. Golden's body was found on the west side Tuesday morning. There does not seem to be an epidemic of brucellosis in Indiana dairy cattle. That's what a federal agricultural official is saying tonight, but state officials supervising the testing will not confirm those results. The federal official says the tests of more than 6,000 Indiana dairies turned up just 2 cases of brucellosis-infected cattle. The test started in April after it was revealed that a police task force was investigating Indiana's brucellosis eradication program and other aspects of the dairy industry. Tonight, officials in Bloomington are trying to settle a multi-million-dollar PCB damage suit against the Westinghouse Corporation. Officials and attorneys for Bloomington, the state, and the U.S. Justice Department are on hand for the meeting. The city, state, and federal governments have charged Westinghouse with being responsible for the pollution and cleanup of PCB-contaminated soil and equipment at several Bloomington landfills. Westinghouse agreed in principle to build a multi-million-dollar PCB-destroying incinerator. The city's so-called blight law is unfair. That's the opinion of the Indianapolis Taxpayers Association. The group says current domain rules used for downtown redevelopment gives property owners in such areas as the 300 block of West Washington a raw deal. This area was declared blighted to make room for a new hotel. Opponents of the measure say changes are needed.
There can be processes put in there to mandate notification by certified letter. Also, there can be processes set up to mandate that they be told their rights before the process begins, so that they'll know how to appeal and where to appeal and so forth.
The ITA is holding a fact-finding discussion at this hour to give lawmakers a better understanding of the effects of the blight law. 2 Indianapolis doctors have filed suit against 3 anti-abortion protesters, claiming they hurt their business. Doctors Robert Morgan and James Brillhart are seeking $250,000 each in their suit against Danny Lovely, Leon Burke, and Wayne Kefauver. The doctors say the 3 members of Citizens for Life have carried signs featuring Nazi swastikas or signs saying KKK headquarters, black babies killed. The suit says those signs falsely imply Morgan is a Nazi or member of the Ku Klux Klan. Brillhart says he has never performed abortions, but that the men passed out literature calling him an abortionist. Nursing home administrators learned today what they must do to comply with Indiana's new nursing home regulations. Today's session held by the State Board of Health was the second of 9 such seminars to be held around the state. Governor Robert Orr signed the new regulations into law on May the 2nd, and now nursing homes must comply. Today's workshop dealt with the changes.
I think probably the majority of the facilities have already started some kind of implementation. The ones that may have problems are obviously the ones that probably the rules that were directed to, the marginal type facilities. But I'd say the majority of the facilities probably are ready and have already implemented prior to the June 2nd effective date these changes.
The seminars are focusing on some of the major changes in the law concerning such things as tuberculosis, nursing, and pharmacy. Americans might be making less use of hospitals and spending more time in facilities called health maintenance organizations. A recent study says the rapid growth of HMOs will likely mean less use of hospitals in the future. And it also confirms that patients spend much less time in HMOs than they do in hospitals.
There are more developments tonight in the battle over where the Indianapolis Colts should play football. Federal Judge Walter Black of Baltimore has lifted a stay that had prevented Baltimore officials from pursuing their lawsuit aimed at returning the team to that city. However, he also banned Baltimore from seeking any emergency court injunctions that would stop the team from preparing for operations in our city. Those operations include such activities as team practice sessions and ticket sales. Meanwhile, at 4 o'clock tomorrow, more than 200,000 people who want a seat for Colts games will know whether they're in or out. That's when the Colt officials will pick the numbers of lucky people who want season tickets to the NFL games. Only 55,000 seats are available for each game. The lottery drawing will not be open to the public because of a lack of space. Our warm, clear skies make it the perfect time for outdoor activities, such as the Little Flower Catholic Church's annual Parish Festival. It's going on at the church from tonight until Saturday. And they're enjoying a temperature right now of 78 degrees and a barometer falling from 29.95 inches of mercury. We've had no precipitation today. Humidity is at 48%. Winds are from the south at 14 miles per hour. Our high today climbed up to 84 degrees. The low this morning was 71. For the record, it's gotten as high as 98 degrees on this date. That happened in 1933. The low for this date has been down to 41 degrees. That occurred in 1894. Taking a look at our state map, over the past few days, our weather has been about the same. Hot and humid. It'll set at 8:11.
Indiana's 13 largest cities had lower unemployment figures in April. The state's Employment Security Division says the biggest change occurred in Muncie, where the seasonally adjusted rate fell almost 2% from March. The highest jobless rate in April was in the Gary Hammond East Chicago area, which reported 14.6% of the population out of work. The lowest rate was in Elkhart. It was 5%. The Indianapolis area rate was 8%. That's down half a percentage point from March. Well, these people are celebrating because they have found summer jobs for 2,600 underprivileged teenagers. Business, government, education, labor, and youth have been working together, hoping to find jobs for 2,000 16 to 21-year-olds. But they have surpassed that goal. The Partners 2000 project has found 2,656 job openings for the 2,600 teens that applied. Almost 500 volunteers worked in the job search effort.
As you know, youth unemployment is a very, very difficult thing and a very tough job to really combat. And it's so important to have good people involved in this, and it's just been a wonderful process.
18-year-old Kim Craig says if not for the Partners 2000 program, she probably would not be working this summer. Instead, she's at State Life Insurance doing clerical work and learning how to use computers.
Hello everyone, the Reds having good reason to be tired after playing 14 innings last night, losing to LA. Then they came out in full swing today in San Diego. For Indianapolis, Mike Stenhouse right there with a double. It goes down the right field line. You see the score right there. It's 2-1, Montreal winning it tonight. But in the Cubs sixth, Montreal 1-0 with one man aboard on the second. And it's Mel Hall at the plate, a shot through the middle. It scores. Leon Durham, right there you see him crossing third. That ties the game at 1 apiece. Now, bottom of the sixth, Gary Carter. It's a towering home run to left center coming up right here. The solo shot, it puts Montreal in front 2-1 in the sixth. That's enough as the Expos win it 2-1 over Chicago. Right now, Olympic boxing trials being held in Fort Worth, Texas. And 21-year-old Ron Essett stands a great chance of making the U.S. Olympic team. His trainer said today that Essett is in his best shape ever, and Essett is confident about his chances. Now, Essett and Bernard Price, they have both won tonight, so those two advance to the semifinals. Now, elsewhere in the NBA today, a big trade. Kiki Vandeweghe goes to Portland, and Portland will get 2 draft choices also in a deal with Denver. Now, elsewhere, the president of Los Angeles Olympic Committee, Peter Ueberroth, he is traveling to Cuba to try and convince Fidel Castro to be in this year's Olympics. And that is a look at sports.
Well, tonight, news reports indicate that superstar Michael Jackson and his brothers may not be bringing their tour to Indianapolis after all. ABC News says it knows the cities where performances will be held. The list does not include Indianapolis. The tour was supposed to start June 22nd in Lexington, Kentucky, but that date is now in question. As for the rest of the tour, ABC says the list of cities includes Boston, New York, Washington, Miami, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Chicago, and either Dallas or Houston. ABC says that list is subject to possible last-minute changes. Last year, when then Interior Secretary James Watt was in, the Beach Boys were out. Now it's the other way around. The Beach Boys are planning to headline this year's July 4th celebration near the Washington Monument. Last year, they were excluded by Watt from the festival after he charged that rock bands attracted the wrong element. Watt later reversed himself, but by that time, the group was committed to another performance. Since that time, Watt has resigned as Interior Secretary. He's been succeeded by William Clark. A lot of people who were at Monument Circle at lunchtime today have broken their diets. The Indianapolis Opera Company was there dishing up oversized chocolate sundaes. The event was the first ever for Ice Cream for Opera. That's to raise money for the company. Borden donated the ice cream, which obviously was enjoyed by all. And recapping tonight's weather, our forecast for tonight, partly cloudy, a chance for some sprinkles. It will be humid, and our low dropping down to about 70. For tomorrow, then, it'll be partly sunny, windy and warm, a chance of thunder showers remaining. A high tomorrow around 90 degrees. So hopefully it'll clear up and those storms won't hit us after all. That's the news for tonight. Thanks for joining us. For Jay Chapman, I'm Ken Owen. Have yourself a good night.